Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to another episode of Comment, Foolery, Exposed. In this video, we're going to talk about Chili from TLC and how she is getting dragged once again. This time it is for simply sharing photos of her family. So at this point, I'm starting to think that some people are literally jealous of your family structure or having close relationships with family members. Because if you look at the Black female YouTube sector, they talk a lot actually about how Black men abandon the children and, the fathers abandon them. In fact, I've even seen people talking shit about Chili and talking shit about Chili's father, saying how she didn't know him and stuff. But if you look at Black women's YouTube, they also talk about how some Black family members that they take care of their mixed race children more than the unambiguous children. So first of all, let's point out that trauma in the Black community, because I think that that is a part of what is causing some of this visceral hatred for Chili every single time she shares family photos. But this time she shared a photo of one of her family members who happens to have a background from Bangladesh. That is a part of what Chili is mixed with. And then once again, we've got content creators saying she's making it her whole personality trait. Chili has been in the industry for decades, and she has posted thousands of pictures on social media about various topics. It's not like she's over here just constantly talking about being mixed race. And even if she was, I don't see anybody complaining when somebody posts something about being a Nubian queen, or they talk about their Nigerian heritage, or they post themselves at Nigerian weddings and stuff like that. So it's like, why is it okay for everybody else to either complain about their families, post pictures with their families, or talk about their nationalities, their ethnicity, and their racial background? But suddenly, if you're a mixed woman and you do that, then it's wrong and you're making it your whole personality trait. I've talked on this channel before, actually, about multicultural jealousy and multiracial jealousy, because we all know that if you have a multiracial or a multicultural background, that it could be easier for you to navigate through society. So this means things like dating. It could be making friends. It could be making industry connections. It could be hair and makeup and beauty tips. And so we all know that Chili is obviously very multiracial and also multicultural. And I do feel like women who are monocultural, who feel trapped in the Black community, and they don't like it there in the Black community. And if you don't believe me, then I will post some more videos exposing people who are giving the tea on the unambiguous Black community. Be sure to check out the skin bleaching videos if you haven't already. I've talked about, because I've actually interviewed women who were talking about how they didn't actually resonate with the culture in those Black female spaces. But the last time Chili got dragged, it was a few months ago, because she does not identify herself as a chocolate Black woman. By the way, she also happens to have a boyfriend who is white. So we all know that in the Black female spaces, white men are very pedestalized. I mean, there's a whole movement that is focused on things like swirling and like divesting or whatever, or like opening your options. So obviously I don't have a problem with swirling, because I wouldn't exist without it. Plus, that's building our community even more. I mean, if you have a problem with me, imagine millions of channels like mine in the future. So she has a white boyfriend, and instead of praising Chili for being the divestment queen, I've noticed that she is also having her boyfriend get dragged. But she got dragged because in the last photo of her, somebody said that she was chocolate, and she said that she is caramel without a tan. So she didn't even say, hey, my skin tone is caramel right now, or my skin tone is caramel all the time. She was literally referring to her past skin tone as being caramel. But people, they took it and they ran with it, and they were making it like, oh my God, Chili, she doesn't want to be chocolate, she doesn't want to be Black. And Chili never even said, I don't want to be chocolate or I don't want to be Black. She simply mentioned that when she does not have a tan, that she is caramel. And then all of a sudden people want to bring up, well, you're the darkest one in the group. So it's a humbling tactic, because even when I was growing up and TLC was big, I only knew Chili. I didn't know the other girls' names. And that's no shade, because I know that these are all MLS women. That's no shade, but I only knew Chili's name because Chili was actually the star of the group, or at least in my city that I lived in. I remember everybody knew Chili's name. Chili was considered the pretty one. I'm not saying the other girls were ugly, but as far as, for the women who care so much about the male gaze, the guys, the little boys that I was around, they were like praising Chili and kind of like talking about her. And so it's funny how when Chili starts to also embrace herself, then people want to now suddenly do the typical humbling tactics. So last time they were calling Chili burnt. They were saying that basically she's too dark to be mixed. And now we've got content creators saying, oh, well, in Bangladesh, you wouldn't be pedestalized. And it's like, once again, we've got them projecting this external locus of control because in the Black community, the women with inferiority complexes, they're very obsessed with what other races think of them. What do men think of them? What do mixed women think of themselves? And so they're psychoanalyzing Chili like, oh, she must think she's better than me. Let me try to tell her that in Bangladesh, she would be at the bottom. So they're doing the same thing that the red pill Black men do when they say, you're not a 10, you're a 6. You think you're better than you are. Get down here at the bottom of the barrel with me. Chili, you think that you're not Black, but actually you're too Black. You would not be pedestalized in Bangladesh. You would be down at the bottom of Bangladesh, just like me. Just like an unambiguous Black woman that I am, you would be at the bottom, Chili. So you need to humble yourself. And it's like the fact that you have to whip out international insults to try to humble someone who literally has family members who have the background of being from Bangladesh. That's insane. And it reminds me of what they tell mixed people. They say, your white side won't accept you. And then to darker skinned mixed women, they'll say, your light skinned friends won't accept you. The light skinned mixed women won't accept you. And once again, they're trying to project that isolation feeling onto you, because I've noticed that women with inferiority complexes, one of the main symptoms that they actually suffer with is feeling isolated. So they feel very alone. They feel like they're the darkest one in the room. They're the only Black person in the room. They're the only ones not being represented in the media. They're the only ones that are not the core audience of my channel. They're the only, so there's this constant feeling of isolation. All the other women on dating apps get chosen before me. So they're trying to project that isolation onto Chili. They want to make her feel like she's somehow less than other races because they themselves feel like they are less than other races. Obviously, Chili does not have that inferiority complex because she has no problem embracing every side of herself. But let's get into the comment foolery. This person says, this is the ultimate colonization comment. And then they screenshotted a comment of someone saying, that explains where her undoubtedly beauty came from. I knew it was more than just Black and Native American. So in the photo, this person has an image that says, I love PR. I don't know if they're saying I love Puerto Rico or if they're a non-Black person. But even if they said this explains where her beauty came from, I knew it was more than just Black and Native American. What's wrong with that? They didn't say, oh, the Black and Native American are not making you beautiful. When are people going to realize that your phenotype and your genotype are a part of your beauty? So why is it that if an unambiguous Nigerian woman, she says, hey, I'm Nigerian and Ghanaian or something like that, and somebody says, that explains where your beauty came from. I knew it was more than just Nigerian. So they're saying that the combination of both the Nigerian and the Ghanaian makes her beautiful. But I think that if you are a person with an inferiority complex, you're going to take it like this person is saying, oh, you're only pretty because of the Bangladesh ancestry. And also, her saying this is a colonization moment, I'm sorry, but who did they colonize? Like, what are you talking about? They colonized who? Chile? Or are you saying that they colonized Black people? Or like, what are you even talking about? And also the simple fact of referring to people as colonizers and slaves, that's probably not a very good way to refer to your own unambiguously Black community. I mean, because you wouldn't want me to refer to a divested marriage as a colonizer and a slave, right? So what are you doing with this comment right here? That's the ultimate colonization comment. Like, are you trying to say that they're colonizing Chile due to her Blackness, or are you trying to say that her Blackness makes her conquered? You know how in the divestment movement they talk about Blackness and Black people being conquered? So it's like you're basically using anti-Black white supremacist talking points against mixed people. This person says, we get it already. You're mixed. This woman is obsessed with letting people know what she's mixed with. No one cares. Go tell your man to wash his ass. Okay, so once again, isn't a white man you guys' preference? You guys love white guys. You guys just used another mixed woman earlier today to brag to Black men about how they prefer Black women. So you guys one-dropped her into Blackness, and you were using her being with a white billionaire as like a flex. And just like how you guys use Meghan Markle and her marriage to a white man as a flex, Tamara Mori and her marriage to a white man as a flex, and now suddenly you want to come against Chili from TLC and Aoki Lee Simmons. So I'm starting to think that if you are married to the white man, then it's a flex. But if he is simply your boyfriend, kind of like Aoki Lee Simmons or Chili from TLC, then it's not a flex. And they're going to drag you because you are unmarried. So once again, do you see how it's male-centered? Sunset Mood says, woo, can she just say, I know black and get on with it? She's too old to be playing these games. If you want to identify as South Asian, just do it, goddamn. So do you see how they associate us posting non-black family members with us flexing? They literally think that we are flexing on them by posting non-black family members. So by me posting a picture of my mom or my siblings or my cousins, this is me flexing on unambiguous people. And this actually reveals their mindset because they will try to flex their light-skinned family members on us. They'll try to say, well, my sister's lighter than you. My sister's lighter than Chili and she's not even mixed. And Chili's mixed and she's still dark. She's too dark to be mixed because she tans to chocolate. And do you see how a lot of them have the mindset of, you know, your boyfriend or your husband being white, it's a flex. Your cousin or sister being light-skinned is a flex. And some people, when they're trying to critique my channel, they'll try to say, well, I'm light-skinned, or my sister or my cousin is biracial, or I'm married to a white person and I have mixed-race babies, so now I have more authority to speak against someone who is mixed. So do you see how your proximity to non-blackness in their eyes, like in terms of social standing or who you hang around, that actually adds to your status? So they're actually telling us what our quote-unquote privileges are in their eyes. They expose themselves every single day on Lipstick Alley. This person says, when did she become so annoying? When she started embracing her mixed-race ancestry unapologetically. So just admit you don't like mixed people because you view them as being higher up than you in society and move on. Just admit that you think mixed-race people are somehow flexing by posting their family members. Just admit that you think that non-black family members and non-black children or a non-black husband, you think those things are a flex. And when you see someone else living that life, then it makes you triggered. Like, I would never get triggered if I saw an unambiguous black woman posting her family from Nigeria. I would not find that annoying. I wouldn't find it triggering. I wouldn't care if she was Nigerian and Ghanaian and she had a bunch of different types of African, and then somebody said, oh, well, that shows where your beauty comes from. You have all these different types of African beauty. I wouldn't have a problem with that because I don't put one race above another. This person says, if the first time I didn't see her in a black girl group, she would fit right in the slums of Bangladesh. So that would be like me saying if I didn't see Viola Davis in Hollywood, then she would fit in on a cotton field. Like, that's literally what you're saying. You're equating her background with being in the slums. So you're literally using like the genocide and colonization and all of the horrors of being in Bangladesh against Chile. But if somebody were to do that against you with your blackness, then they'd be called racist. This person says, she's so juvenile and clearly obsessed with race. Dating a white guy seems to have that effect on some, and it's gotten worse for her. Poor thing. So because she posts a picture with her family, she's obsessed with race, yet you guys who are making a 20-page Lipstick Alley thread about her and saying that she looks like she's from the slums, oh yeah, that has nothing to do with race at all. This one says, she's way too dark and unambiguous looking to be this delusional. Yes, she may be mixed, like every African American, but she's black. She needs to get over it. So once again, she's saying you're too dark to be this confident in your mixture. You're too unambiguous looking to have this much confidence about where you come from. And then she wants to use the we're all mixed argument against her and say, oh, well, you're nothing special, basically. There's nothing special about you because all of us are mixed. Okay, well then if all of us are mixed, then you guys should all rep being mixed then. But I don't see that happening. You know why? Because you're being disingenuous. You're doing the same thing that millions of unambiguous women do, which is get so used to seeing their natural hair in a lace front to the point where they think that they actually look like Chili when they don't. Like, and racially, their actual genetics are different than Chili's, and that's okay. Has anyone noticed that you're only allowed to be proud of your blackness? You're not allowed to be proud of being mixed. You're not allowed to be proud of being biracial. You're definitely not allowed to be proud of being from Bangladesh, apparently. or having ancestry in that area because people are going to call out that you're from the slums or you look like you should be in the slums. This person says, so I guess it was an Indian man who abandoned her, trying to say that this guy in the pic is like her father who abandoned her. So do you see how they're projecting that fatherless stereotype? You know how there's kind of like this stereotype that black women have kind of promoted, which is that in the black community, they're fatherless. So now they're trying to project that onto her. So I guess it was an Indian man who abandoned her. Like saying, oh, instead of being abandoned by the same black man, you got abandoned by the same Indian man. This person says, the men over there are whitewashed and only see pale skin. I don't know why some of these people think being mixed changes this. Many Indian women are treated badly. So she's trying to do the same humbling tactic that red pill men do when they say, you're not a 10, you're a 6. So she's basically saying, you're still not white. So you're still beneath people who are whiter than you. And you are towards the bottom because you are adjacent to Indian women and black women who are at the bottom. So once again, this girl is projecting her own internalized inferiority complex onto Chili randomly. Oh, well, you're not as white as somebody else. You still wouldn't be treated right. You're still a woman of color, is what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that Chili will have this invisible glass ceiling and that she'll never be treated as good as a white woman because she is not pale-skinned. This person says, she's so fucking annoying. Oh my God. All I'll say is that I thought she had a background similar to Tatiana Ali or Alfonso Ribeiro. Where did Bangladesh come from? So this comment is also ignorant because it's like, we are not required to tell you our entire family lineage. We're not required to convince you of who we are and where we came from. We are allowed to embrace certain parts of our mixtures or not talk about certain parts of our mixtures or play up or play down certain parts of our mixtures. So honestly, I can see why Chili and Beyonce are separating themselves from women like this. Because some women don't want to be associated with all of these negative and ignorant things that these women on here are saying. This person says, you see that response about that being where her beauty came from rather than just African American and Native American? Why did she not check them? But it's like, why is it that beauty can only come from African American? Why can't people's beauty also come from Bangladesh? Or them being Native American? Or them being all three? Because that's really what that comment sounded like to me. It sounded like they were potentially a person of that same background in Bangladesh and saying, oh, okay, I knew there was something else in there. But you're making it a hierarchy. And it's like, why is it that nobody's beauty can come from anywhere else except for blackness when you know damn well that in the unambiguous community, they praise anyone that has non-blackness or even looks like they have non-blackness mixed in with the blackness. This person says, I was just thinking about her. Tatiana Ali is a beautiful biracial and seems so sweet and non-annoying. Also, I'm sure her parents were married and both raised her together. So again, do you see how they randomly start pedestalizing marriage? They randomly start talking about relationship status out of nowhere. Chili said nothing about marriage or relationship status or about her parents being married. And then this person says, Chili seems like she was a product of a one-night stand or a short fling. Basically hoe activities. They certainly were never married, so she's not different from any other kid born out of wedlock. I'ma keep it cute and leave it right there. She needs to go watch her grandbaby. So now they're trying to diminish her because she does not come from a married home. She didn't have a father in the home, supposedly. And so they're trying to belittle her and say, hey, you're just another fatherless black woman like me. And it's like, do you even hear what you're saying? This person says, she is mixed by a man who was a literal one-night stand with her black American mother. He was not in her life, and she didn't even know him until Sally Jessy Raphael found him on her talk show. I have shared before that I do not believe her bio father is 100% East Asian Bangladesh because he served in the army with my father and my dad had a picture with him and they're buddies and he looked like a typical light-skinned black man with wavy hair. My father was lighter than him. So once again, here we go with people bragging. My father was lighter than your father. He definitely has a parent that is East Asian, but the way that Chili, who literally co-opted someone else's nickname to replace a departing member of TLC, just comes across as a special snowflake syndrome because she was always full of herself and thought she was better than everyone because of the way people would ooh and ah over her hair. I can tell you stories for days. The way she used to sleep around and fake friend females to get with their boyfriends is stuff of legends in ATL. She has had her ass beat a few times, and she is still a smug special snowflake, fake elitist. Can't stand her. Okay, so this person is trying to say because she is not at least 50% of another race, that she somehow doesn't count as mixed. And also, even if she's 25% Bangladesh or East Asian or whatever, she's still mixed, and clearly it shows up in her phenotype, which is why you're talking about her. So this person starts arguing about Chili's facial features because somebody said, wait, y'all thought Chili was black with some Native American? LOL, Chili looks Indian as fuck. And then this other black girl says she is a carbon copy of her black mother facially. So she's trying to say you look black in the face, and so therefore you do not have the right to post on Instagram. How dare you post your families of another background? Because then you're exposing the fact that you are different from me, an unambiguous black woman, and I can no longer clout chase off of your phenotype and put on a lace front and pretend that I look like you. And so now I have to come up with another coping mechanism, which is to try to say that you are a carbon copy of your black mother facially. And so all of your features on your face, Chili, are unambiguously black and monoracial. That means you got a broad, wide nose, you got the full lips, and the broad jawline, okay? There's nothing special about your facial features, Chili. You still look black, like me. So do you see how they're insulting themselves? And then they're going on to talk shit about people saying that her beauty came from more than just black, as if there's something wrong with beauty coming from anywhere else other than blackness, because they take it as, oh, you're trying to put down blackness and put the whiteness ahead of the blackness, or you're trying to put the Asian ancestry ahead of the blackness, when that's not what the person is saying. Usually when a person says something like that, they're saying that the combination of features, which is exactly the same thing I say on this channel, it's the combination of both your African features as well as the non-African looking features that make you beautiful. So whether it's chocolate skin with the wavy hair, whether it's broad facial features with the other features, that's all they're saying. They're just saying that the mixture of the features all together looks beautiful. They're not trying to say, oh, it's the white part that makes you look pretty and then the black part makes you look ugly. But people with inferiority complexes who internally think that blackness means ugly, yeah, they're going to take it that way. So basically, if you're not constantly promoting blackness and complimenting blackness, they're going to take it as anti-blackness. This person says, I think she is so fixated on race because she is insecure. There's a difference between being proud of your heritage and constantly reminding people of what you are. And it's like Chili is not constantly reminding people. She's literally posting random photos on Instagram all the time that don't have anything to do with race. And then this girl also said, she was the darkest one in TLC and wasn't the preference. Okay, so once again, you're the one perpetuating the stereotype that dark skin makes you not a preference. So don't get mad when I've got more and more bleachers who join my channel and say, all right, get somebody else to do it. If I'm not the preference, or if I'm seen as being at the bottom and, you know, I'm not going to be pedestalized in Bangladesh and nobody wants me and I look black in the face. So do you see how they're actually insulting themselves? They expose their own internalized anti-blackness whenever they start insulting a mixed person. She says she has to find a way to make herself feel valued, and that's through proving she's not just black. Just my opinion. This girl says, we've been over this. She is 1/16 South Asian like I am. So once again, see how they approximate themselves to you in order to humble you? But then they don't realize that they're putting themselves at the bottom. They're doing the same thing as the red pill guys. You're not a 10, you're a 3 like me. She is 1/6 South Asian like I am. Based on her ancestry trail, her great-great-grandfather is the fully Bangladeshi one. That amounts to 6 to 7%. So Chili is 93% African, according to this person. Oh yeah, because this is what the average 93% African person looks like. And they actually have pictures and photos of multiple people within their family. Oh yeah, so this is what it looks like when you're 93% African. Your cousins are going to have straight hair, your uncles are going to have these East Asian features, your hair is going to be straighter. Oh, this is just, everybody looks like this. This reminds me of the comment when people were like, Beyonce looks like everybody in Houston. Everybody looks like Beyonce. And it's like, you know, that's disingenuous. If everybody looked the same, then there would be no need for the term unambiguous. There would be no such thing as colorism, texturism, or featureism, because we would all look like twins. This girl says, because New World black people have minor European admixture, there's a good chance that she has more European in her than South Asian. That could be the reason why she has more ambiguous features and looks a bit exotic. So the first person said she looks unambiguously black in the face, and now this person is admitting she has ambiguous features and looks exotic. This girl says a lot of white and black people claim Native American when it's really black ancestry for white people and white ancestry for black people. Rosanda is clearly majority black, but she doesn't look like an unambiguous black person. So do you see how they end up exposing themselves eventually? This person says, who takes a picture with a random uncle who looks like he's heading back in after his lunch break just to say she's Bangladeshi? She doesn't have pics at a wedding or family function or something? So basically, not only is she dragging him saying he looks dusty, like he just looks like some dusty ass guy from Bangladesh, like her whole family, like she's just from the slums of Bangladesh. And then she's like, she doesn't have pics at a wedding or a family function. So now she's saying, you need to prove to me by showing more family members who have Bangladesh ancestry so that I can believe that you're actually mixed. Because there's no way that you can tan to a chocolate skin tone and be mixed. This person says this girl is lost AF, most likely a product of her mama getting her cheeks clapped by a random. Now look at Chili, 50-something years old and still trying to figure out who the fuck she is. Well, what does this say about the majority of the black women who say they don't have fathers? So do you see how they still end up insulting themselves? Anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.